And here we are back live in Milan for this beautiful final for the 9th place between Rayo Dockers and Marseille. Rayo are leading 71-68. Very, very close final. On the first half, out of the 23 jams, Marseille and Rayo Dockers led each of them 11 times, so nobody can predict the issue of that game. Who's going to win between Rayo Dockers and Marseille? No one can say that. We are back on the tournament in less than 1 minute now. We have a problem here with the scoreboard, so I don't know what's happening, and the referees don't seem to know. It was only the snooze on, so we're back here 48 seconds before the start of the second half. Just before starting the second half, I'd like to give a shout out to all the technicians here working for Daga Denter tournament. They are making a tremendous job here. So let's have a shout out on live stream for eternity on the interwebs to the tech team here for Daga Denter. 20 seconds before the start of the game. If you want to send your love and support on Twitter, please use the hashtag DDT2017 to either support Marseille or Rayo. Only 3 points difference between the two teams, and this is it. We are going to start in a few seconds. Oh, apparently there is a bit of a leak in the roof because it's raining heavily in Milan today. There's a bit of a leak in the roof flowing directly onto the track, so the referees are taking a bit of a time. So we might not start the second half right now because it's safety first in roller derby. Once again, I tell you, it's raining heavily outside in Milan. And so there is a leak apparently on the roof. So we're taking a few seconds to try to fix that up. And apparently there is a arm wrestling competition for Vienna. Vienna is going to play just right after for the access to the final against Barcelona. Look at what's happening here. Who's going to win? massive arms from number 28 for Vienna. Obviously she wins. So there's still a leak in the roof here in Daga Denter 2017. So the referees are discussing just to take a decision whether the game is going to continue or not. Apparently the game is going to continue since the players are back here. But you know, it's safety first in roller derby, so if you have too much water going on to the track because of the leak, the game might be cancelled or postponed. For the moment, the players are warming up, turning around. So the two tournament head referees and tournament head NSOs are discussing with each other to try to take a decision on this. As you can see on the track here, we have the tournament head NSO, Petty, and the tournament head ref, who are discussing with each other to check whether the game is going to start again, because there is a leak in the roof and it's safety first. You have water on the track, so it might be slippery floor for the players. So that's why we haven't started the game once again. Betty and reflex, you can see it. Betty here, the tournament head NSO, just right next to her. Reflex, the tournament head ref. So there is a delay because of a leak in the roof. Once again, I tell you, it's difficult weather condition in Milan today. It's raining heavily outside. So for the moment, the game is delayed because there's a leak on the roof and it's slippery on the track. So you can see it, Petty and Reflex are discussing to take a decision. We have a very tight game for the moment. Please send your love and support on Twitter, hashtag DDT27. I'm feeling quite lonely here on hashtag DDT27. No one is contributing. So if by any chance someone is listening to me, please send your love and support for the players on hashtag DDT27 on Twitter. So the schedule of the day, once again, just for you to remember it, we will have the second half of that final for the 9th place in a very few seconds, I hope, between Marseille and Rayo. And on this moment, on track 2, we have the access to the final for the 7th place between Vicenza and Harpies from Milano. And then we will have on track 1 at 11 o'clock the first semi-final of this Daga Denter tournament between Vienna and Barcelona. Then on track 2 at 11:30 we have the second semi-final of the tournament between Helsinki and Zurich. Then on track 1 the final for the 7th place between Lutèce Destroyers and the losers of the game between Argunas and Harpies. And then on track 2 at 1:30 p.m. we'll have the final for the 5th place between Panthers and the winners between Argunas and Harpies. And then on track 1 at 3:13 we'll have the final of for the 3rd place between the losers between Vienna and Barcelona and the losers between Helsinki and Zurich. And finally at 5:30 on track 1 we will have the final of the Daga Denter tournament between the winners between Vienna and Barcelona and Helsinki and Zurich. And then the award ceremony, and then it's going to be the end, and you will have plenty of time to watch for the last day of the WFTDA Championship in Philadelphia with this beautiful upcoming final for the Hydra between Rose City and Victoria Roller Derby League, the RDL. The game here is still delayed because of a leak in the roof in Milano here. Once again, it's raining heavily outside. The floor is slippery. Trying to clean that up. The players are still warming up, not to lose their influx for the second half. Reflex is talking to the crew ref Bath from Lille. Just to tell you more news about what's happening in roller derby. So obviously if you are roller derby fans, you know that you have the WFTDA Championship right at the moment. But we have another tournament in Europe this weekend. We have the Brebo Cup in Antwerp between strong leagues. We have the Lille Roller Girls, we have Antwerp obviously, we have the North Derby Girls. It's a 4-team tournament and Lille is going to compete against Antwerp this morning. Unfortunately this is not streamed on the interwebs, so the only way for you to watch roller derby, and you are watching since you're hearing me, I hope, is to watch this final for the 9th place of this Daga Denter tournament 2017. Marseille 68, Rayo Dockers 71. You can see it on the stream. Volunteers and Petit are, and Petit is a volunteer as well, are trying to clean that up just to dry the track. Once again, it's safety first in roller derby. And we might be able to have that second half very, very soon. I remember 2 years ago in Lille, a game was cancelled, but it happened just before the start of the game. A game between Lutèce Destroyers, the Encastreuses, and the Switchblade from Roller Derby Lille was cancelled because of the same thing, because of a leak in the roof in Lille. So finger crossed here that we will continue the game. It seems to be okay, apparently, as far as I can see. So we might be able to start the game once again. Apparently, yes. The referees made the decision. I can see thumbs up here. Yes, we will start the second half of the game very, very soon. So the two teams are gathering to cheer them up, to find the stamina and the courage to do that. Oh. Uh-oh. The penalty board is being removed from the center of the track. Does that mean that, contrary to what I said, the game is going to be postponed, cancelled, or delayed? I believe that the game is going to be delayed since the referees and the NSOs removed the penalty board from the center of the track. I don't know to this point whether the game is going to be delayed or cancelled or postponed. I'm trying to gather information. I tell you back. So I'm trying to gather information for you, Derby people. Okay, so I've got new information. The manager of the penalty board was apparently missing, so they decided to remove it from the center of the track. And apparently the game is going to be on very, very soon. So if you are joining us right now, the second half of that final of the 9th place between Marseille 68 and Rayo Vallecano 71 is delayed a bit because of a leak in the roof, which went to the track, turning it into slippery floor. So that's why it's safety first, and the rain delayed the second half. And I've got new information. The second half is going to start in 2 minutes now, approximately. So we are going to see some roller derby very, very soon. And you can see it on the penalty board right now. Yes, on the camera. It's a very close game between Marseille and Rayo. So let's hope that everyone will get their head back into the game very soon, because we don't know, for the players with that much delay, it might be a factor of losing their concentration and their focus. So it might be one of the parameters of the start of the second half, the ability for the players to get back into the game quite rapidly, because with so few points difference between the two teams, you really don't need to lose your focus and your concentration to get into the game, because everything is going to matter on this. You can see it on the scoreboards here. The game is starting in 1 minute. In the meantime, once again, you can send your love and support using the hashtag DDT2017 on Twitter. "45 seconds before the start of the second half. Everyone seems to be ready. And the game is going to start in 5 seconds right now. You can hear the whistle, ladies and gentlemen, derby people. The second half of the final for the 9th place is going to start very soon. Let's see whether the players will be able to maintain their focus and their concentration after this long interruption of the half. It's going to be Ulala starting the first jam of the second half versus Killer Queen for Rayo. Here we go, second half for the final of the 9th place. Ulala facing the 3 blockers. Good assist by Donovic, and Ulala logically takes the first lead of the second half for Marseille. Ulala in her scoring trip right now, gathering information from the bench. 3 blockers from Rayo here. Ulala is looking for the multiplayer blocks penalties, but good job by Machaka Flacas. And Ulala is still passing 5 more points for Marseille, allowing the team from Marseille to take the lead once again. It's now 73-71. Ulala in her second scoring trip right now, facing the 3 blockers from Rayo. 2 blockers now, 1 was sent to the penalty box. And Ulala is having quite a hard time, but she is turning around the pack and passing once again. Successful second trip. 5 more points for Marseille, getting a bit more of an advance here at the scoreboard. And third scoring trip now, and it's a power jam situation for Marseille since Killer Queen was sent to the penalty box. Oh, that might be a jam, an important jam for Marseille here. And Ulala turning around and calling that jam off, allowing Marseille to start with a power start situation in the second jam. 20 points scored by Ulala for the moment. It's the official record of the highest number of points scored on one single jam. 88 for Marseille, 71 for Rayo Dockers. Really, really good job by Ulala here. And it's going to be number 11, Ballerink, jamming for Marseille. In a power start situation, you can see Killer Queen is up. She's about to go back on the track. Rebecca is trying to give an assist, and this is enough for Ballerink to take the second lead of the second half. On that jam number 2, Killer Queen is back. The power jam has ended. Oh, nice job by Ballerink on one foot, getting on the inside, on the back, and scoring more points for Marseille. Oh, good defending from Rebecca, but Tormenta, who is having the helmet cover here, entered the scoring trip, but not enough for Marseille since Ballerink called off that jam, and it's a team timeout asked by Rayo here. 4 more points by Marseille. 92 for Marseille, 71 for Rayo. And logically speaking, if Rayo doesn't want to let Marseille lead the way even more and more after 2 jams, they took a team timeout to try to fix things up, because Marseille had a tremendous start of the second half. 27 minutes and 1 second to go on that game. And now it's a clear 25-point advantage for Marseille, 96 to 71. For the moment, the official record of the highest number of points scored on one single jam was by Ulala on the first jam of the second half. 20 points scored on that power jam. It's going to be Sushi jamming the upcoming jam number 3 for Marseille. And it's going to be Kinky for Rayo. Overall, there were 4 penalties committed by jammers since the beginning. There have been 4 penalties committed by jammers since the beginning of the game. And for Marseille, 4 as well. Sushi is pushing, trying to shoulder a way through. And this is it for Sushi. 3 lead jammer position in a row for Marseille. What a tremendous start of the second half. The team timeout didn't work for Rayo since Sushi is calling that jam off. Has she scored points? Yes, points are scored for Marseille. 2 more points. Two more points for Marseille. Marseille 98. 71 for Rayo. It's Ulala back again on that jam number 4 versus Prima de Riesgo for the first time of that second half. And Ulala is taking the lead. Once again, I will never underline that much the tremendous start for Marseille. Rayo hasn't scored any single points since the beginning of that second half. And Ulala is dodging, getting on the outside, but she's being sent to the penalty box for a back block. This is a power jam for Rayo, and it's going to be a full 2-minute jam since Ulala lost the benefit of her lead jammer position. So maybe an opportunity for Rayo to get back at the scoreboards. It's now number 33, Terremoto, having the helmet cover for Rayo. She has entered her scoring trip. Terremoto approaching the back to score the first point of the second half for Rayo. Good blocking by Marseille. The power jam has ended. Ulala is back, and she might score points since she was sent to the penalty box in her scoring trip. This is it for Terremoto. The first point of the second half are scored by Rayo. 5 points by Rayo. Spinning around for Ulala. And 5 more points for Ulala as well. Terremoto is being sent out of the track by number 04, sorry, Viking. Oh, good hit by the shoulders by Ulala, clearing the way on the inside. And this is it, the end of those 2-minute jam, and Ulala has scored 4 more points. So even if there was a power jam situation for Rayo, Ulala scored 9 points on that jam. It's 107 for Marseille, and 7 points scored by Rayo, 78 now. Kinky for Rayo versus Sushi for Marseille. Sushi on the outside takes the 5 consecutive lead jammer position in a row for Marseille since the beginning of the second half. Oh, good job by Sushi, and good job by the blockers from Rayo, number 8, Banana Kamikaze. And Sushi on the inside, passing the pack and calling that jam off. 4 more points for Marseille. What a tremendous start for Marseille. They were 2 points behind Rayo at halftime, and now they have a bit less than 30-point advantage. Prima de Riesgo versus Ballerink on that upcoming jam number 6. Is it going to be a 6th lead jammer position in a row for Marseille? Let's see that. Sushi is a bit up front, but Prima de Riesgo is trying to shoulder her way through the back, taking on the outside. No lead jammer position right now, even if Sushi is up. Oh, good job once again by the blockers from Rayo, number 8 once again, Banana Kamikaze, and Sushi is taking the 6th consecutive lead jammer position for Marseille. And it's a power jam situation. Prima de Riesgo was sent to the penalty box. The second power jam situation of that second half for Marseille. Let's see whether Ballerink, it's not Sushi, it's Ballerink. Let's see whether Ballerink is going to make the most of it. Yes, 5 more points for Marseille, second scoring trip. And Ballerink immediately called that jam off to allow another lineup for Marseille to start in a power start situation for the upcoming next jam. Five more points for Marseille, 116. On the 6 jams, Marseille scored all the time. On the 6 jams, Rayo only scored on 1 jam. Ulala starting in the power start situation and taking the lead for Marseille. 7th consecutive lead jammer position for Marseille. Prima de Riesgo is back. And Ulala takes on the outside to takes another 4 more points on that scoring trip. Oh, good job by Tormenta. Prima de Riesgo has entered her scoring trip. And Ulala was waiting for her and immediately calls off that jam. It's 4 more points by Marseille, 120. And still 78 for Rayo. Kinky is back on the track for Rayo versus Sushi. And look at that, we have 2 players down for Rayo in the penalty box. So that might explain why Rayo have difficulties, but when I say that, you have Kinky taking the lead for the first time of that second half. It's an eat the baby here, since Kinky got Sushi out and then running the clock. We love those eat the babies. Good job by Kinky. But Kinky still has it and decides to call off that jam. No points were scored for Marseille and no points were scored for Rayo. Still 120-78. But for the first time of the second half, Marseille lost a lead jammer position. Tormenta para Rayo versus Ulala for Marseille. And Ulala is getting the grip again on the lead jammer position. Even if she immediately... No, she doesn't call that off, but she is lead jammer. Jam number 9 is on. Ulala in her scoring pass now. Oh, good job by Ulala. Passing the pack and calling that jam off. I think she scored 3 points. Yes, 3 points more for Marseille. It's 123 for Marseille, still 78 for Rayo. Once again, an impressive statistic. Marseille scored 8 times on 9 jams since the beginning of the second half, whereas Rayo only scored once. Official timeout. We're going to have a beautiful 6-pack on the track, since 1 player from each team is in the penalty box. Let's make the most of this official timeout to have a look at the sponsors. We have Rollline, we have Serim, and we have all the partners for Daga Denter. We have Pick a Brew, that's mini brewery. We have Les Garçons de la Rue, an association supporting the Harpies from Milano. And we have Milano All News, the cultural association from Milan. And the supporters from the Rayo Dockers are shouting their love out in the stands. Oh, they are actually the only ones in the stands to attend the game. We have only 1 supporter for Marseille. But don't be mistaken, this is Marseille leading at the scoreboard, 123-78. Let's remember that at the start of the second half, the score was 68 for Marseille, 71 for Rayo Dockers. We are approaching jam number 10. That means that on 9 jams, Rayo Dockers only scored on 1 of it, whereas on 9 jams, Marseille scored on 8 of them. So that means that it's a tremendous start for Marseille here. They led 8 times on 9 jams, whereas Rayo only led 1 time on 9 jams. The NSOs are still on the official timeout, whereas Rayo is trying to keep their influx while dancing on the track. Please send your love and support to hashtag DDT2017 on Twitter. Uh-oh. I not going to tell you what's happening on the track right now. It's going to be rated 18. Not 18, maybe 16. So the official timeout is now approaching 3 minutes. And we have cheers on the other track from track 2, and Rayo Dockers players think that they were cheering for them. Those funny people here. And I think this is going to be the end of the official timeout very soon, after 4 minutes. No, the official timeout still continues. Still trying to gather info on that long official timeout, now approaching 5 minutes. The referee is talking to one of the Dockers in the penalty box, so that might be an important thing. Well, I'll tell you, Derby people, when I have more info about this. So now I'm used to filling the gaps of silence in the games with that long interruption on half-time and that long interruption in the second half. I think I can have a degree on this. And I can see a player from Rayo getting out of the track. So that might mean that she is either fouled out or either expelled from the game. I haven't seen their number, but I can see that someone from Rayo replaced another player in the penalty box. Someone was expelled from the game. I can see the gesture from the NSO. I'll tell you more when I have it. Nasty Moves is trying to get info on this. Hello, Marseille. So it really was an expulsion for an out-of-play block. Not a foul out, an expulsion. So I repeat, it was not a foul out, it was an expulsion. Someone had to replace her in the penalty box. I still don't have the number, so I can't tell you the name of the player. But for Rayo, this is quite a loss, since, I repeat, one player was expelled from the game because of an out-of-play block. Not foul out, but expelled for the game. So let's get back to the game with Prima de Riesgo jamming for Rayo versus Ballerink on that upcoming jam number 10. Let's see whether Marseille is going to keep their influx, their tremendous start of the second half, or whether Rayo is going to try to gather their mind to try to get back at Marseille with it. Here we go, jam number 10. Prima de Riesgo up front. Prima de Riesgo taking the lead for Rayo. Will that long interruption, long official timeout mean the back onto the game for Rayo Dockers? Let's see whether Prima de Riesgo is going to make the most of it. There is a scoring trip right now for Marseille as well, but Prima de Riesgo passed the pack and immediately called that off. Very good job by Prima de Riesgo. 5 more points for Prima. It's now 82 for Rayo. Sushi is back for Marseille versus Tormenta. Now, as far as I can reckon, we see Tormenta starting a jam more often in this first half. It's an official timeout. The referee is talking with the NSOs. Will we have another long interruption? And with that other long interruption, it's really hard for the players to maintain their stamina, physically speaking. So that's why we can see many players right now on the track trying to keep their influx, trying to move their feet, to move their legs, to roll a bit, not to lose their physical influx on that game. You can hear shouts and scream. This is because you have another important game on the other track, on track 2. This is the derby of Italy between Vicenza and Milano. So obviously quite a lot of people in the crowd cheering for both of the teams. So we have another interruption, and the NSO is talking to a blocker for Rayo in the penalty box. So I have my eyes stuck on it. So there's another player from Rayo who is now occupying the penalty box. This is a game that we're going to remember, but it's interruption. But it's quite normal because we remember the 5th of November. that was a direct quote from V for Vendetta. And I think that we're going to get back onto the game very soon. Yes, we are. 16 minutes and 59 seconds to go before the end of that game. And now we have a 40-point difference between Marseille and Rayo. Tormenta versus Sushi. Here we go, jam number 11. Sushi is taking the lead for Marseille. Scoring trip right now for the number 83. Bumping into the blockers from Rayo. Trying to get the gap on the outside, and she saw that Tormenta was coming over, so that's why she decides to call off that jam. And she has scored 3 more points for Marseille, now leading 126. Yeah, 126 for Marseille to still 83 for Dockers. Oulala for Marseille versus Kinky, and Oulala takes the lead, second consecutive lead jammer position for Marseille here. Oulala in the scoring trip, right into the jungle, and takes the gap on the inside. 5 more points for Oulala. Oulala on the second scoring trip right now. Boom! And once again clearing the way on the inside to score another 5 for Oulala. She has the record of the highest number of points scored on one single jam with 20 points, and she seems to be quite the same influx. No, because she is calling that jam off. Has she scored points on the third scoring trip? Let's see that. For the moment it's 10 points for Marseille. And yes, 1 point more for Marseille, so 11 points for Oulala. It's 137 right now, still 83 for the Dockers. Battering for Marseille versus Prima de Riesgo for Rayo. Oh, good job by the blockers from Rayo. They're giving a hard time for the moment to Ballerink. But Ballerink is still up front for the moment, but the lead jammer position is still open for Prima de Riesgo as well. Prima de Riesgo taking on the inside and takes the lead for Rayo. Prima de Riesgo has entered the scoring trip, and she has half a track advantage with Ballerink. Prima de Riesgo on the inside, but it's cutting the track for Prima de Riesgo, so she loses the advantage of the lead jammer position. It's a power jam for Marseille, and it's going to be a full 2-minute jam. Also, Banana Kamikaze is joining 2 other Rayo players in the penalty box. And this is it for Ballerink. 3 more points, but a power jam situation for the Blues. Oh, good assist. The rainfall, a bit of a rainfall for the blockers for Marseille, but the blockers from Rayo reformed rapidly and giving a hard time to Ballerink, but Ballerink remains still on the track. Oh, good job by number 33, Terremoto from Rayo, forcing Ballerink to call off that jam. 4 points by Rayo, but 8 points by Marseille. It's now 145 for Marseille, 87 for Rayo. Upcoming jam number 14, it's going to be Sushi jamming for Marseille, but here it's a team timeout asked by Rayo. And we have Lou saying Vamos Rayo on hashtag DDT 2017 with a lot of thunder. Please send your love and support on the hashtag DDT 2017. Lou, apparently a fan from Rayo at Neverland. So hello, Lou. And it's another long interruption. We have 2 blockers for Rayo in the penalty box, and we have team captain Donowicz from Marseille in the penalty box as well. But the gap seems to be done here, even if we have quite a long time before the end of that game. 12 minutes and 39 seconds to go. But we have here less than 40 points, 37 points, 38 points advantage Marseille's 145, Rayo 87. This is it. We're going to start the jam number. We're going to start jam number 14 very soon. Sushi versus Kinky. Here we go. Jam number 14 on. Only two blockers trying to contain Sushi, but Sushi takes the lead. Entering the scoring trip now. Kinky is out as well, but Sushi is approaching the pack to score more points for Marseille. Bumping into number 8, Banana Kamikaze, and being forced to call out that jam. Good job by Banana Kamikaze, even if she's being sent to the penalty box. It's 4 more points for Sushi and Marseille and 1 point for Kinky. 88 for Rayo, 146, 149, sorry, for Marseille. Ulala versus Prima de Riesgo. And it's a lead jammer position for Ulala. Let's see that statistic. Out of 15 jams, Marseille only lost 3 jams. And Ulala passes and scores and calls it off. 4 more points for Marseille. 153 now, and still 88 for Rayo. Slowly and slowly, Marseille is sealing their victory in this final for the 9th place. And now we have Tormenta back on the track for Rayo versus Sushi on this upcoming jam number 16. Still no lead jammer, but Sushi is up front, shooting a way through, and this is it for Sushi. Lead jammer for Marseille. We are approaching the 10 last minutes of that game. Oh, beautiful jump by Sushi. 5 more points. Second scoring trip for Sushi. 1 blocker down for Rayo. Sushi calls that jam off. Has she scored points on the second scoring trip? Yes, 3 more points for Sushi. It's going to be 161 for Marseille, 8 points scored, and still 88 for Rayo. We are now approaching the 100-point difference. Marseille is only 27 points behind the 100-point difference. And it's a cutting for Ulala, sent to the penalty box. It's a power jam, and the lead jammer situation is still open for Rayo. And it's Prima de Riesgo trying to get that lead jammer position, but unsuccessful star pass. No, it's a cutting actually. So yeah, it was an initial cutting by Prima de Riesgo going to the penalty box. So it's going to be a full 2-minute jam on that jam number 17. And Ulala is back in a power jam situation now for Marseille. A very small power jam, since Prima de Riesgo is going to spend the same amount of time in the penalty box as Ulala. And Prima de Riesgo is already up. And Ulala has entered now her scoring trip. Prima de Riesgo is back on the track. Prima de Riesgo is still in her initial trap. Ooh la la on the outside, backs on the inside, back on the outside. Very good job by Ooh la la to score another 4 points for Marseille. The jam is going to be a full 2-minute jam since both jammers lost their position. Prima de Riesgo in her scoring trip right now, but good job by the blockers from Marseille. Mempamal is getting Prima de Riesgo down. Mempamal is having a multiplayer block sent to the penalty box, and it's the end of that jam. And points scored by Rayo, but only 2 points scored for the Spanish team. 3 points, sorry. 3 points scored, so it's 91 for Rayo. And 7 points scored by Marseille, 168. On the other track, we have a very tight game between Milano and Vicenza. Only 2 points difference, 161, 159. 161 for the Harpies, 159 for Vicenza, and only 6 minutes and 57 seconds left on that game. And here we have 7 minutes left on that game. And the game seems to be sealed. Marseille is 168, Rayo is 91. It's going to be Bellerin jamming for Marseille in the upcoming jam number 18 versus Tormenta, the battle of the 11. And we have another message from Lou on hashtag DDT 2017. Rayo player but broke her leg 2 weeks ago. Pulpos, pulpos, pulpos. So we send our love and support to Lou, who is apparently a Rayo player but couldn't compete in Daga Denter tournament in Milan because she broke her leg. Those things unfortunately happen in roller derby. Roller derby is a contact sport. It's not a sport just for pastime and leisure. So love and support to Lou from Valencia, who broke her leg 2 weeks ago and who's watching Rayo Dockers competing for the 9th place of these Daga Denter tournaments. And we have another long interruption on that game. I don't know what I can tell you more. I don't have jokes on Sunday mornings. We see the gesture from the NSO. We are going to be back on the game. So apparently Rayo forfeited. I repeat, Rayo forfeited for risk of injuries. So the game stops right now. Rayo forfeited for risk of injuries. We have the first ranking of the Daga Denter tournament. Number 10 is Rayo Dockers from Valencia, therefore, and number 9 is Marseille, who won the game on that score, 168-91. Rayo Dockers forfeited for risk of injuries, unfortunately. So Marseille is number 9, Rayo Dockers is number 10. Thank you so much, Derby people, and stay tuned for the upcoming games. The first semi-final here on track 1, starting at 11, approximately 11, so it's not 11 because it's in 3 minutes. It's going to be delayed, but stay tuned on either track 1 and track 2 for this Daga Denter 2017 edition. Bye-bye, Derby people.